So this is the yeast mixture. 1 tablespoon of yeast, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. So I'm going to mix this up. Then I'm going to let this proof for 5 minutes. The yeast has bloomed or proofed, so it's already, it seems swollen and spongy on the top. My flour is ready, and this is the bowl I'm going to use. And I'm using margarine because this one is a bit, it's just from the fridge, so it's not ready to be used. So I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of margarine, and I've already scooped it out. So I'm ready to begin this. We mix this the same way that we mix the chapati dough and prepare the chapati dough. And after you do this for 10 minutes, which I'm not going to cover here, after 5 minutes, you just move it to a flat surface, and a clean flat surface. And then you just knead it properly until your hands are not sticky with the flour. So that's how we are going to prepare this. So I'll just show you the end product. I think I'm breaking because I'm holding the gimbal. My kitchen is so small, so I have to hold the gimbal. That's why I can't show you my steps, every step. But I'm mixing the flour with the margarine until we have crumbles. Then I'll pour in the yeast mixture, and then you'll just see the end result. So this is how it looks after it has mixed with the margarine, and you can see the yeast is still proofing or blooming. So I'm going to pour in the yeast mixture and knead this up to the level that it doesn't stick on my fingers. So this is already done. It's a bit sticky on my finger, but not so sticky, just because I've held it. I've poured some oil down here, and now I'm just going to ensure it's all covered with oil. You can see it's not sticky on the bowl as well as on my hands. This is just a bit, which, yeah, I can remove. But then basically, this is done. I'm going to cover it with a piece of cloth. But first, before covering it, I'm going to dip the cloth in warm water. It's very clean, very white. Warm water, and then cover it and wait for 2 hours. As that is happening, I'm going to wash these dishes, as well as just show you the steps of preparing. That's the hot water. I'll show you the steps of preparing the sauce. I forgot to press record, but this is my pizza sauce. And in this pizza sauce, I took a pan, I added the margarine, I added the garlic. That is, the margarine is 1 tablespoon, no, 1 teaspoon. The garlic is 1 teaspoon. The mixed herb, I didn't use any mixed herb. I used oregano. I used 2 cups of blended tomatoes. I used salt, that just half a teaspoon, black pepper, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. And here we go. So for this, I'll let it simmer here in low heat for a while until it reduces in size and becomes thick. If you want to use any soup thickness, you can use them, but for me, I'm just going to have this. The other thing I want to mention is that I've also added half a teaspoon of tomato paste to give it a bit of a darker color. But remember, tomato paste, any tomato paste, if you add tomato paste, too much of it becomes unpalatable. So just be careful with that. But basically, this is what I have for the pizza sauce. So while I'm cooking this, remember, I have my dough, which is proofing or doubling in size, or I'm waiting for it to rise to double in size. And then I'll come back. I would have washed utensils. I would have prepared the surface. I would have also cooked the pizza toppings. I'm going to have bacon. So we're going to have the mozzarella. So I'm not going to cover this again. We're going to have bacon. This is pork bacon. I've never seen beef for a while. This is pork bacon. I bought 2 because you know what happens when you cook them. And the flour that I've used, same old gluten-free flour. And that's what I'm going to have. And I'm making Hawaiian. I'm using these pineapple slices. You always guaranteed that the pineapples will be sweet compared to what you might pick in the market. And chopping them is a bit easy. You don't have to spend a lot of time chopping them. And of course, you have syrup that you can drink as you're preparing this. The dough has doubled in size, so I'm going to work on this later. I'm just going to pull it out, press it down first, like this. Then I'm going to pull it out, knead it a bit with a bit of flour, about just 1 tablespoon of flour, and then roll it out just like the chapati dough. I'm going to divide this into two. So one will be like a medium pizza, thin crust, and then the other one will be a small pizza, thin crust, thereabouts. This is the bacon topping, the pineapple chopped, the surface is clean, and then the sauce, the pizza sauce, and I can show you the thickness. The thickness of the sauce looks like this. So this is what I'm going to apply with, and then I'll show you the technique that I use with a fork, just to poke holes on the dough when it's laid down on the baking tray. And this one is going to be baked at, this is the baking tray. I use the oil from the bacon. I'm going to, just to ensure that it doesn't stick, the dough doesn't stick. I'm going to preheat the oven for like 10 minutes, and then it's going to bake for 15 minutes. So that's the plan. So I've managed to, so I took out the dough. I separated it into two. So this will be the small, this will be the medium. I usually do not get the shape right, so I can't pretend that I usually get the shape right. So this is what I have. And I've just placed it on the, oh, I forgot to preheat the oven. So let me do that right about now as we continue with the prep. So there we go. So this is what I'm doing. I am poking holes on the dough, and you could see that my sides are not a bit bulgy the way a normal pizza is, but this works for me. Some people can do an egg wash at this point, but for me, I just prefer it just plain, simple, and gets it more flavorful. So I poke holes like this so that when I pour the pizza sauce, it's able to get through the dough, and I'm able to taste the pizza sauce through the dough. Yeah, so I'm going to do this for a while, and then once I do this, I'm going to put the pizza sauce, then the cheese, and then the toppings. So remember, I'm doing Hawaiian pizza. Okay, let me get the gloves. So now I have the gloves because I'm ready to start putting the sauce, the toppings, the cheese, and everything. So I've already placed the dough that was here. I've already covered it again so that it stays there for like 20 minutes as this one is being cooked. Okay, so we go in first with the sauce. So you just spread either with a spoon like this or a knife, whichever floats your boat. So you can ensure it's placed sparingly. Don't worry if it's not so thick, it will still be okay. I've done this many times before. I always maintain the same thickness of sauce and consistency, and this has never failed me. Never, I tell you for a fact. But one day on Thursday, I tried the one from the supermarket. I regretted using that sauce. Better make yours from scratch rather than spending 350 bob that you're going to regret. Remember, if the sauce remains, you can use it for pasta. So what you do, you just heat it up, and then you take cooked pasta and then place it in the sauce, and you can have a meal out of it. So you can reuse this. Remember, you can't put this in the freezer, but you can put it in the fridge and use it within 3 to 4 days, and that will be a good thing. You can still recycle some of that. So ever since I learned how to do this, I don't buy pizza. Rarely do I do this at home. It takes time. It's about 3 hours worth of work, because you have to wait. I think I can say 2 hours, because you have to wait for the dough to proof. But when it's proofing, you can be doing other things. So, but if you have extra hands, it's a bit easy. I think the other latex gloves would have been better. This one, I'm really struggling. I don't to put a lot of cheese. The people who like a lot of cheese, there are people who do not like cheese. I still have another piece remaining somewhere, so I think it will be enough for 2 pizzas. Ensure it's spread everywhere. You have enough just to cover every bits and piece. Just check areas where it's too much, trying to push them to the edge. I don't know how they do it at Pizza Inn, the Bonairs and the likes, but this is my process. I'm just showing you my tips, what I do. It's not perfect, it's not the best, but it gets the work done. So I have this remaining, and I have a bit there. So I'll use that for the next pizza. You can put in whichever order. So I'll just start with the bacon. Just broadcast it. See if it's slammed. Ensure that it's enough for each and every corner of the pizza. And I'm using, so this is the 100 gram. So I bought 2 of them, so these are 200 grams, and it can do 2 pizzas. So remember, the economy is tough, and if you're doing this once in a while, it's an expensive recipe. The sauce is cheap to make, because the ingredients are readily available. Pizza is not, the bacon is a bit expensive. It will cost you about 300 shillings to buy the 200 grams. Cheese is about 370, 390. So it's not that cheap to make pizza. So this is going to go to the oven for 15 to 20 minutes at 180 degrees. And then I'm going to show you the end results. Then I'm going to cut it up, place it in a box. So this is it. The pizza is finally done. This is the end result for the first medium-sized pizza, thin crust. And this is how it looks down below. So I'm going to slice it up and then place it in one of those boxes.